Hi, it's David Wildstein at the New Jersey Globe. I am joined by Congressman Jeff Van Drew, who is seeking re-election to his third term as the congressman from New Jersey's second district. Congressman, welcome.
Oh, it's great to be with you, David. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. So tell me what you've been up to. You've been running for office for you've had a lot of election days in your career, and we all have things we do and we don't do. How has today been?
Oh, it's been nice because, I've certainly made the calls and talked to people and met with some people and checked the polls and all. But I do something a little unusual too, and I always have whenever I ran for election. So, as you know, I was a dentist for many
Yes.
years, and I would always take part of the day, believe it or not, and do some dentistry just to do something different and get my mind off because I think pretty much the die is cast and everything is pretty much baked in, even though you do need to make some calls, etc. I can't do that anymore. So I don't have my dental practice. I sold it when I became a United States congressman. So what I've been doing and what I did today is I went shooting. I like to target shoot a lot. And there is a place that I go that's an indoor target shooting, and it's always a lot of fun, and I enjoy it. And one of my friends, and also somebody that happens to work in my office, is an instructor, and he also is an expert. So I enjoy going with him, which I did today. So I did that as well.
And I've been obviously watching your career since the 1990s. I know that ages me more than you because this is my 49th year in New Jersey politics. But I've watched your campaigns, and one of the things I've seen is that you've never taken a race for granted. Not in Dennis, not for Freeholder or the legislature or for Congress. This it seems like you're operating on all cylinders, but this one looks a little less obvious than the last two did.
Well, I don't know. I'm working hard. I call people every single day. In other words, a certain amount of the emails that come in and certain amount of people that contact the office, I directly call. And that's a lot of fun too, David, because, they expect to either get an email back. And again, when you're getting just, thousands a day, that you can't help it. Sometimes you have to return a message via email, but it's really neat when you can call a certain number of people yourself and say, "Hi, this is Congressman Jeff Van Drew, and you called me about the border or about inflation or about whatever the issue is." Sometimes it's something totally different you wouldn't even think of. And so their reaction is interesting because sometimes some people just accept it and say, "Oh, Congressman, it's great to hear from you, and it was so nice you called," and all that good stuff. And some people will be, "It's not really you. Come on, you're not calling me. This is some sort of, political advertisement or some sort of a robocall." And I say, "No, it really, and it is, it's fun. It really is me."
Sure.
And so, that's a good thing to do. I don't take it for granted. I don't. I will be pacing around, and I am already. And that's why I always try to do something a little different on election day for at least part of the day, is to get, cool and calm and get ready for everything that's coming up in the evening. I think we're going to have a good year. I think it's going to be a good election, not only for me, but for many Republicans. But nevertheless, never, ever, ever take it for granted. If you're not working as hard as you can work, then you're opening yourself up to a problem. Last thing I'll say on that, if you win by a whole lot and people say, "Gee, you didn't have to work that hard, you won by so much," you know what I say? There's no such thing as winning by too much. And if you don't win by a lot and you work that hard, thank goodness you did.
So, there are people that I've spoken to in South Jersey over the last week are specifically, I mean, Cumberland County, where there is a chance for Republicans to take control of county government tonight. Uh, they're talking about Van Drew coattails there because you're at the top of the ticket. Uh, I've seen there's a surge. It's undeniable that there is a surge for Republicans in South Jersey. You represent Cumberland, you represent part of Gloucester. Uh,
Yeah.
both counties control is at stake. what's caused South Jersey and sort of deep South Jersey, which is what you represent. Guys like me from the north, I sort of refer to as suburban Delaware, but it's it is the southern part of the state, and it's getting redder at a time when New Jersey had been getting bluer. Why is that?
Well, first of all, we refer to Delaware as suburban South Jersey. But in any event, there are reasons. Culturally, we were always more moderate, more conservative, but it was a different Democratic Party. So it's not so much that the people of South Jersey have only changed, it is that the Democratic Party has radically and wildly changed. And it's not what people like down here. A lot of South Jersey folks that were Democrats used to say, well, we're conservative Democrats. Now, I was years ago a conservative Democrat. I've always been a conservative, but I found that this party has veered so radically to the left that I could no longer stay, as you know, and you
Right.
know the whole story with that. And that's happening to other people. We have elected officials, whether it's in Morris River Township, Buena Vista Township, Buena Borough. I've got people all over changing to Republicans, elected officials, as well as many people that I just know who are constituents are changing and becoming Republicans. This Democratic Party does not represent the mainstream of normal society as we know it. I mean, there's a lot of bizarre stuff going on in the Democratic Party, and people don't like it. They don't like the inflation. They don't like the borders being open and these folks not even being checked. They don't enjoy the fact that our police are being demeaned and diminished and defunded. They don't like what's happening to our military. They don't like what's happening to our schools, and especially what's happening to our textbooks, that kids in the third and fourth grade are learning about masturbation and learning about oral and anal sex. I mean, this is bizarre stuff, and this is not the Democratic Party they knew. So certainly when you've got solid middle of the road working people, they no longer relate to the Democratic Party. And I'll tell you what else is happening. Hispanics in large numbers are no longer relating to the Democratic Party. They're hardworking people. They're business people very often. They're people of faith and family, and they don't like this stuff as well as many African Americans. So we're seeing some change. We're seeing a sea change, and it's not over yet. And it doesn't end tonight, and it will not end as long as Republicans really do the job. And let me say this: I've said it many times when I've spoken to many of the groups. I've gone to all the counties and tried to fire everybody up, and they are fired up, whether it's Gloucester or Cumberland or any of them, Salem, because they do want to get control. But let me say this: when Republicans get in, they better not be weak-kneed or lazy or apologize for being strong Americans or strong Republicans. We need strength in our party and strength in our country.
So obviously, aside from local, and I know you've always been hyper focused on local politics, and the Van Drew team, but tonight you're obviously going to be watching a lot of
Yeah.
your colleagues and challengers throughout the country. There's certainly control of the House is at stake. This could put you in the majority party. What's your view on this, and what would Jeff Van Drew being in the majority party in a Congress mean for New Jersey and for your district?
Well, what it would mean is so many of the bills that I did that were just blocked by Nancy Pelosi, and then we weren't even helped by the Democratic majority. I mean, bills that literally would just say, "Hey, we need more border patrol, and we need to have more protection at the border, and we need the wall." Just one example of many. Because for those folks that think this is only a southern problem at the southwestern part of the United States and Texas and areas like that, are wrong, because these folks are being sent all over the country at taxpayer expense, changing the fabric of our society, because we need legal immigration, not illegal immigration. So, working on issues like that, I'd actually get traction. I'd be able to work with my colleagues, get things done, make sure that we incentivized having a proper amount of police and honored our police. That starts at the federal level all the way down, making sure that our military is strong and powerful, making sure that we have, a real energy portfolio that works. We have created, what's horrible about all this, David? All the problems that we have in America right now weren't thrust upon us by other places. We did it to ourselves. Biden did this to us. The Democratic majority did this to us. They made this happen. So now that we would have a voice and that we'd able to get things through Congress, we're at least going to be able to move on some of these issues. Now, if the president's not going to be cooperative, and I hope we have the Senate as well, so I hope it'll be the Senate and the House working together. But if the president is going to veto and he's not going to be cooperative, let me say this, it's going to even show that much more the difference between the America we want to see and the America that Joe Biden wants to see, number one. Number two, we've got to take this president like a soft lemon and squeeze him hard, because he's going to need things from us as well. And when he does, he's got to make sure to try to help to bring America back home and have a good, America of faith and family and freedom and friendship. We're really capable of doing that. And I think that's what people want to go back to.
Well, Congressman Jeff Van Drew, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I know it's election day, and you want to check your phone the minute you get off and see
I will.
Any new turnout news. So I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your time. Good luck to you tonight, and I hope we'll have a chance to talk again after the election.
Sounds good, Dave. And if you learn anything tonight, it is that Delaware is a suburb of South Jersey. Remember that. All right.
I will remember that. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you much.